Hello guys, welcome back to Becoming Her. So tonight we're going to talk about how mental health has and does affect relationships.
Listen. Your mental health, your well-being, what you've been through, your trauma, especially as a child, affect your adult life. If you haven't did the work to, clean up and go back and save that person, that child, that spills over into your adult relationships, whether it's a relationship with like your friends, whether it's a relationship with like romantic relationships, that affects your relationships. And if you don't do the work and you haven't healed properly, then that spills over into your relationships, and that's why you continue to be in a cycle. You keep attracting like the same type of person. Because you attract what you lack, and you attract a lot of us, especially as women. We have a tendency to attract like our dads, like a romantic version of our dads, and a lot of times you don't even realize that the men that you have been, selecting have been like a version of your dad, especially if you didn't have like a lot of people, because it's normal in the black family that, we're raised in a single family home and we're mostly raised by the woman, and our fathers are not in the home, or if they are in the home, then we might have like a dad that's not consistent, and then they have like certain traits, but as a child, we looked up to them because we wanted that love and affection. And so we didn't see like all the faults that they had as being a man until we get older, and then realize that we started, attracting that. Like we think it is okay. Like you see, I know for a fact, and some people ain't gonna like it, but if you see your dad being a cheater and you don't know that he's being a cheater as a child, I'm like, what is cheating? I didn't know what cheating is, but I know like, hey, that's not my mom. And so when you get older, it almost seems like it's okay. So if you mess with a man, then you'll start to accept like that person cheating on you because like you saw your dad do it, and it's not okay. But like you start to repeat, like you start to, if a person they cheat on you, then you're so easy to take them back, or because you've seen that as a child. And I know for a fact, like I've done that. Like I actually dated people that were like different versions of my dad, and I'm a daddy's girl. Like my dad was an excellent provider, and when I chose men, they were all excellent providers, but they were cheaters. And I seen it as a child. It didn't make me feel any different way about my dad as, coming up. But as I got older, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know it until I was like in my 40s. That part when I started doing the work. And by this time, I didn't notice until after my dad had passed. And then I had to like deal with all this. So I had to unpack all this stuff. I don't have the opportunity to go back and like talk to my dad about it. I'm left like trying to figure it out for myself. But when I realized, sometimes you have to realize, as women, like you keep getting cheated, people that cheat, and then you be like, okay, what's wrong with me? And then you be like, okay, well he cheated, so it's his fault. But which is true. But I had to do the work. Like, okay, what is it in me that I keep, choosing these same type of men?
So when the person that you were dealing with was cheating on you, did you stay in those relationships? I know you're talking about multiple because you said men, but did you stay when you found out they cheated, or was that a deal breaker?
The first time I stayed because we had kids and we had a family, and it took for
so you stayed for the children?
I stayed for my children,
not because you really
because I wanted my kids to have what I had. Like I had both parents in the household, and I had both parents in the household regardless of what was going on in the household. So I wanted my kids to have that, and I realized like I was doing the same thing, but I was doing more harm to my kids than what I was helping them. But I didn't notice that until the damage was done. And so when I did decide to leave, I had to deal with myself and then deal with like the damage that I did and caused with my kids. Because if you don't, then it starts to go on. Like then they start to make those same kind of decisions. They start to do things that's not okay because they saw it in the household, and that's not what you want. And I didn't even know like that was going on, but then you'll start to see like kids mimic what they see, and I mimic what I saw. And like now you got like trying to figure things out, but then you're also trying to like help your kids so they won't repeat the cycle. Mm-hmm. You see the cycle, because I actually repeat the cycle, from my mom. staying there, working hard, staying there for us, being, wants to have both our parents in the household. And, she did the same thing. And I wind up doing the exact same thing. People come in, they see like what you have. They see, the houses, the cars, and, the fashion, see all that stuff, and they think that everything is gravy, but it really not, because you force like your heart and like being taken care of, like physically and mentally, like emotionally, like you're really messed up. You just see like the outside. And then when you finally get that courage to leave, you gotta do the work. And if you don't do the work, then you're gonna make that same decision, but it just might be a different version of the same person. So you think that, okay, this person is gonna be different this time. And they are different, but they still a different version of the person that you just got a relationship with, because you didn't do.
They have some of the same characteristics, which is the cheating part. Although they look different on the outside, those other things that you're looking for, they have that's different, but the cheating part remains the same.
But it's funny that you say
okay. We convince ourselves
that is okay.
Yes, we
really
do.
Not.
And it's funny that you say that when we mimic the household. So I always say I have independent women syndrome, which is not like an actual diagnosis or anything, but I just say it because I watched my mom be married and be a single mom, making sure, because my dad had an addiction, making sure the bills were paid, making sure that everything we needed was taken care of, making sure, the mortgage was paid. When he jumped in when he could, and he didn't. And then in my relationships or in my situationships, I play that role like, no, I don't need your help. You can't tell me anything. I pay my bills. Nope, you don't need to pay nothing over here, because that means you got rights over here. You don't have no rights over here. So I see how that spills over into my relationships.
Do you think that's okay?
It's not okay. It's not okay. That's why like Erykah Badu has that song Bag Lady. So I'm carrying all of those all that baggage from childhood over into relationships, situationships, whatever I call them. And I see that's where that barrier is. I haven't unpacked those bags to totally let someone in. Instead of packing those bags, I build those walls saying I still have to secure me.
That's hard. Do you think that in your future relationships, because you're saying that you know this about yourself, in your future relationships you will do something different?
I don't know. I'm working on it every day. I'm working on it. I'm trying to, but I just feel like that I need a sense of security, a sense of if he leaves today or tomorrow, I can still take care of. I don't want to invest so much, only not because it's just not me anymore. I have a child as well. And I know a lot of females that have jumped into relationships and want to share and let them be the head of the household and correct the children and make decisions for the household and things like that. And I'm just not at that place because I've been doing it by myself for so long. I kind of have a rhythm. So
it's going to be hard for you to release the reins of being independent and controlling your household to when you get into a relationship.
Because it's like, if you can't be comfortable with both of us wearing the pants, then so I got to get.
I'm gonna tell you, sis, from my experience, that doesn't work. I did that in my marriage. It was twofold. I wanted to be submissive. I wanted to be the wife that, allowed for my husband to be the head of the household, and I struggled with that. Like I wanted that because I saw that when I was being raised by my grandparents, however, I had been, independent for so long. Although my grandmother and my grandparents were together in the house, my grandmother still raised me to be independent. She taught me how to balance a checkbook at like 12, 13 years old, taught me, so much about how to run a household as an independent woman. So when I got married, that was definitely a struggle because I would, I guess, probably emasculate him because I was like you, feeling like we both should be able to wear the pants when, that doesn't work in a relationship because, men want to be able to lead. So you have to learn to let them be the head and you be the neck.
But it's hard. If you're dating a man and he wants you, so I had to break out of the habit because I'm still learning and evolving and I'm learning how to date in my late 30s. And I used to always associate submissiveness with weakness. and I kind of had to separate the two, but then also I had to look at the individuals that I was dating, because how can you be submissive? How can I be submissive to someone if he ain't giving me nothing to follow? What am I following?
Well, that's not, I'm getting that right there doesn't work. But you do have a strong male personality who is, somebody that can lead you. It's going to be difficult to get out that mode of independence to allow him to lead. So I'm saying this to you so you can start practicing now, because I know that was one of the catalysts to the end of my marriage, because we struggled with that, with me always making him feel like, and in hindsight, I know I always make him feel like if you ain't going to do it, I'm going to do it myself with somebody else. Well, and I know that in hindsight, I know that's not the right way to be in your marriage, So I didn't give him that security of I'm dependent on you to handle what's happening here. It's like, well, if you won't do it, it's still going to get done. And I think that's, you got to kind of be a little bit more softer than that when you're trying to be in a healthy relationship.
I strive to have that in my next relationship.
Me too.
The thing is, I did grow up in a 2-parent household, but my mother was the one who made all the decisions. Mm-hmm. Anytime something came up, it was go ask your mother, go ask your mother. So when I had kids and I got married, I was still in that mode where I was the one who was taking charge. I was the one who was doing everything. And it got overwhelming for me because I just wanted to be the woman. I wanted to be in a relationship where I could trust my husband to lead, and that just did not happen for me. So now here I am pushing 50. And I'm trying to figure out, the broken parts of me so I can figure out how to fix them, because my next relationship, I don't want to be the man of the house. I don't want to wear the fucking pants. Mm-hmm. I want to be soft. I want to be able to trust my partner that, he's going to make the best decisions for us. I've never had that. I don't even really know what that looks like. So I definitely chose partners that mimic the behavior of my father, without even knowing that that's what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And I think part of the reason is because my father and I are not close. And that bothers me as well, because I'm the only child. So it's really no reason why my father and I shouldn't be close. But I had a conversation with him since the show has aired. And again, he has apologized for, my childhood. But I asked him, why aren't we close? And he says, I don't know. He's never really been close with anyone. So, I didn't know what to say to that. Like, what do you say to that? Because I'm sure.
Can we start?
Well, that's a whole nother conversation.
It is.
Mm-hmm. But the one thing I know for sure, I know that my father loves me. Mm-hmm. And whenever I needed him, he's always had my back. But the thing that I needed the most was just him.
The love, the hugs.
Right.
Yeah.
Just him. And, the rest is unseen. It's still not written. But
my dad used to teach me, and I think this is why I'm so hard in relationships. You were like, don't trust nobody. Only trust your daddy. Don't take care of no man. Don't trust what he say, because we do this, we do that. So even with dealing with different guys, I've never had like that trust. Like, always felt like if they said something to me, I felt like they were lying. Like sometimes, like I would sabotage my own relationships because I'm like, no, my dad told me to watch out for this, or my dad told me to watch out for this, or it seems like I'm just self-centered when I'm really not. It's hard to trust. It's hard to build that wall of trust when I already have a brick wall built with baggage from every other relationship. And it's almost like if somebody right now could come in the room right now and we could go out and he could be the perfect man for me, I'm going to, if I feel like it's getting too good, and I don't know why I do this, if it's getting too good and he's not doing what other men would do. He's like really an upstanding man trying. I want to find a reason to sabotage that relationship because it's too good to be true. And like, I talked about, in earlier shows about self-esteem and all of that other kind of stuff. Sometimes I feel like, oh, well, why is he with me? Like, when is it going to happen? I can control the pain. So I can control the outcome of what's going to happen if I put the ball back in my court. If I let him lead, he can lead my emotions down the wrong way, which I've been there before and I don't want to ever go there again. So sometimes when I'm dating and it's too good to be true, I'm like, yeah, let me poke. Let me see how far I can take him before he be like, yeah, I ain't doing this. But it's because of my dad. It's because of, how I watched my mom. It's because of the stuff that my dad taught me, which now it wasn't right. He was a street dude. He gave me the street code to like, he was a street dude. He used to say, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. These are the type of men that are out here. But I don't really think, he ever taught me the other side of it.
We couldn't teach you when you didn't know.
That's true too.
For me, I wasn't raised by my parents because they was, drug users. So I think my mental health has caused me to, I had abandonment issues in my marriage. So although I trusted my husband, like I said, I wanted to be submissive and everything that I looked for in a man, he presented with great potential to be greater when we first got together. However, I always had those mental health issues with abandonment. I always felt like, although, we built together and we did great things together, I always felt like at some point he was going to leave. So I always had to feel like I had to be self-sufficient no matter what. And that caused issues. And then the flip side to that, after the separation and divorce, the next relationships, I became a runner. So I went from wanting to stick in there, through thick and thin, and definitely believed in my vows, to getting into relationships where the minute I didn't like something, I was ready to bail.
Yeah, that's me too.
Yeah, that's me, man.
And that's hard. Like, you might have, the good people in your life, and it's just like they present with all these great things, but like you said, then you start picking them apart. Well, he paid all the bills, but he coughing to sleep.
Like he paid the mortgage, he paid the BG&E, he put gas in the car,
but he ain't paid more bill.
It's something. Right, it's something. And that's me. Like, I will find something. Like, I'm like, yeah. I'm not.
For me, I find that I settle.
Okay.
I know, like, I shouldn't be putting up with this, but I settle.
Because
I feel like that's what I saw growing up. She settled.
Repeating the cycle.
Yes. I guess there's a little bit of fear there that I wouldn't find someone just as good or better. So it's like, you have all of this, just stick it out. Just stick it out. But on the inside, it was killing me. It was killing me to settle. And I realized today I don't want to settle anymore. I deserve more than to settle. So it's creating boundaries. And if my next potential crosses those boundaries and I find that I'm settling again, that I hope to shift gears and not continue to settle, because I'm going to end up right back in the same spot. It'll feel good temporarily,
but the perpetual cycle,
I'll be settling again. I just did that to myself again. And so trying to get out of that cycle of just accepting whatever the partner wants to give me really isn't acceptable to me. And it should never be. So, but you know.
You gotta do that work.
Gotta do that
so
work.
hard to not repeat.
It is.
It's really hard
It
because it comes packaged really nicely.
It does. It looks so good.
And it feels good. And that's how you get sucked in. But when the shit hit the fan, it's like, God damn it, I said it again. And look where it's got me.
Yep.
Heartache again.
And so that's me. Like I'm the most passionate, affectionate person, especially in a relationship. Like I'm my best when I'm in a relationship. But however, after the bullshit that I've been through recently in like my last relationship was like 5 years ago. I'm guarded. I've never been guarded. Like I'm the type of person, like the loving person. Like I've never been guarded, but now I am guarded, and I don't know how to be unguarded. I don't know how to bring these walls down because I've never been here before. So, but I am so guarded. Like I am picking people off like a sniper on the building.
Sniper on the building.
Like a sniper on the building. I mean, these are good snipers. Like they be shooting them from way like miles down. Like, and I'm not gonna lie. Like I have like really, really
good potential
guys.
Yes,
and I mean
all these finance men.
They have like all the good qualities and I mean everything be established, you know, financially.
He be gone.
Yes, all that, and then and want desire to be married, you know, and desire like all the stuff that I want, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like what he had on the day, so yeah, I ain't gonna say him. Or like just the don't. Good morning, gorgeous. And I'm just like, like that'd be me. Like if he did nothing wrong, but that's just I don't know. Like, and I don't know how to get out of this place. And I be telling Jabba like, she was like, listen, and I will run like in a heartbeat. Like saying something, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna. She was like, Ange,
your heart is closed.
Yeah, it is, and I've never been like this. And I actually came across someone who actually like. Say everything that you really want to do the work with me, and that's what it's going to take. Like for all of us, like somebody to find somebody that's actually going to be actually want to help you and like actually do the work with you and get help you get there. And I had somebody that's asking me that actually see that and say they willing to do the work with me, and I'm saying like
questioning that.
I'm questioning like my sniper is up on the building like switching the gun out like
cleaning out the noise.
Yes, like
waiting.
It's bad. Like, and it's not that I don't desire to be in a relationship, because I desire to be in a relationship. I desire to be loved. But however, like, I'm just picking them off, like, ding, 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 ding.
Hey, it's your girl, Genice Chantel. Listen, my entrepreneurial journey has taught me one very important thing, that I am no punk. This past year, I've shed things that no longer serve me the way I feel fit, and I'm only doing things that bring me joy. Genice Chantel Wax Experience has been my baby for the past year, and it has grown so much over the past year. I am super excited to celebrate my 1 year in business and my new life. I look forward to seeing everything that I've envisioned for myself and my business. Get the wax, sis.
And then some of them got like more lives than a cat because they
keep coming back.
And I'm like, why? Yeah, I'm like, why? Like, you know, but I don't know. Like, and
then you start doing, I know I started doing what I didn't want done to me, which is giving people the feeling like I'm going to what's the word I just used? I'm running from them, so they feel like now that I'm abandoned. I'm sorry, abandoned. Like, so now I feel like I'm giving people abandonment issues. What I didn't want done to me, I feel like now I'm turning.
Yeah, because I'm gonna go somebody and like I'm Casper. I will go shoot in the heart.
Oh, yes, well.
Yes,
yes,
I'm Casper. Like I will go shoot, and that's not me, but that's where I'm at now. But I will go shoot in a heartbeat. Like I switch roles. Like it's bad. Like I will go shoot in a minute. Like. Who is this? Like, first of all, I don't even give you my real number. Like, I have a whole another number.
The Google.
I got like 3 phones.
Yeah, I got a whole another number. So if you even on that, like I was saying, but some people don't graduate from that number to the other number. but not ever
like credit cards.
But yeah, I will ghost you. Yeah, I will ghost you. I will ghost you in a minute, and it's like really, really, it's bad. Like I don't even like this person, you know, that I am when it comes to like that. But it's bad. Like I need help.
So we all can agree we need to do the work.
Yeah,
we got to do the work to get to the other side.
I want a relationship.
Do you?
But I don't want a relationship. But I do want a relationship. But they be like the holding hand. I be like, would
you know what? I want a relationship with myself.
I don't even like cuddling after sex. Like I don't even like that. I be like,
yeah, like I had a relationship with myself.
That part. A lot of people have.
I'm just learning that.
A lot of people never been like not a lot of people. Never, this is the longest I've ever been like not in a relationship. Like I'm not the type of person that jumps from relationship to relationship, but like this is the longest that I've been not in a relationship, and I learned a whole lot about me. I learned some stuff about me that I don't like that, you know, that I need to change, which is good because I would have never found that part or figured that out had I not had this person. So I don't regret any of the experiences that I had because it made me who I am.
Absolutely.
But it also made me this cold-hearted person that I am when it comes to relationship, and I don't like that part because that's not like in my character. So that part I do want to change, but like you said, like we gotta.
I don't even think I can really say I've had a real relationship because sometimes like even after my dad passed, I really turned into an asshole. Like it could be the like y'all were saying the nicest guy ever, and I'm like something wrong. Who else you saying? Or good morning, gorgeous, or how was your day? Or we go out and I'm like, why does his pinky look like that? Why he drinking? Like I just find something like real bad and just try to make an excuse. And
like, why did he cut that pork chop? A real man with his pinky
and that's stuff. Like that shoe stuff, like the little thing. Like I come in the house like, why? Like that was there last week. I was like, why is that still there? I ain't able to do this.
And then she sent pictures, and I'd be like,
be like, why are you chewing like that?
I'm sorry. Why? It wasn't your house, sir.
But I'm trying to get out of that mode. I'm trying to get out of that mode. Like I said, I'm learning what it really means to date. But my dad has embedded so many things in me, and I didn't know that I inhabited those things until until I've gotten older. Like I'm pushing 40, and I'm like. My dad said, don't trust nobody. And it seems like
a deprogram.
Mm-hmm. Now I got to deprogram myself. I got to start taking those bricks down. But right now I got bricks on top of luggage because like the situation I was in last year, I was like, yeah, as soon as you let your guard down, that's what happened. Like, you know, I'm learning and I'm trying, but it just seems like I feel like sometimes the movie She's Gotta Have It. Like I'm dating all these guys and each one of them. Yeah, and each one of them got something different. Like, but all of them still got a trait of my dad, and I'm like, if we just put all of them together,
building it.
Like right. Yes,
if you can only,
then maybe you know. But then again, I don't want to date nobody like my dad. I don't want to have to, you know. Have independent women. I don't want to have to take care of it or guide or be a mommy and a daddy. Like I might as well stay single. So it's like me making that choice on Erica. What do you want and what are you looking for? And I can't
answer that though. I want to know if your ideal man, what does he look like?
And I'm gonna honestly say I don't know. I can say women. Sometimes we spend so much time saying what we don't want in a man. When somebody asks us the question, what we do want. We can't answer it. I just want somebody that's.
I know.
I don't know.
What you want in a man?
I want a man who's going to communicate effectively, who can speak his mind, but respectfully. If I ask a question, we can have some dialogue about whatever it is we're discussing. I want a man who's going to responsibly lead, who's going to be honest, who can make me laugh. Who doesn't live with his mama, he has his own, and he can stand on his own 2 feet, who we can speak life into one another. That's the type of partner I want.
You sound so good. How about you, Angie? What you looking for?
Ooh, I want someone that's God-fearing. I want someone who's affectionate. I want someone who has empathy and not just sympathy. I want someone who is financially stable. I want someone who's not complacent. And when I say not complacent, like want to go further. I want to build. You know, I want to be able to build things together. I want us to like try to be on the same mindset. I want someone who's going to stretch me. Mm-hmm. You know, I want someone who wants to know right. I want someone to know who want to get to know me. Like I run into so many guys who only see like the superficial, like see the outer part, the outer part of me, and don't want to know the inside part. Like they not.
Well, you get turned off just by
I do
talking about so much
like
about how fine you are.
That turns me off completely. Like okay, we love compliments and everything, but if that's all you're talking about, that's the complete turn, and I get that so.
I know what I look like, sir.
And you want to think about what's inside of my brain because they don't want to know me. Like, and then they just assume that that you're this bougie, like the first I'm unapproachable. Like, and I'm none of that. Like, when I'm really like this cool person that's really silly. That's I got a small mouth. I can be sarcastic and petty at times, but not ever. I'm just like this cool person who like joking around, but you wouldn't know that just by looking at me. You know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't see that, and a lot of people don't even want to know like that part of you. They don't want to they just want to go straight to the bed. Like that's not what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm too old. Like and y'all old, they be old too. Like come on now. Like it's more than just sex. Even though I do, and that's another part. I need somebody just want to be good sex.
Good in bed.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you want me to be good in bed. You know, that's enough. That's
how they say that sex is not a big part of relationship. That's very, very important. I think a man came up with that.
Yeah,
sex is not that important.
Yeah,
an older man probably, or somebody with a little penis.
It's important. I'm sorry. That's
it's at our age. This is when it gets good.
Right now,
at our age. I'm knocking on 40s. I'm knocking on the 40 club.
I'm knocking 40 and not 40. Just need the second win.
Hello. Oh, tried it. Thank you guys for showing up with us again. And like we always say, you are not alone. So if you need the support, the help, talk to somebody. So thank you guys for tuning in again to Becoming Her. Keep healing,
evolving, and restoring. See you next time.
That part.